folks, so the birds are chirping and the rain just started coming down. So we're gonna get to it, and today I'm gonna walk us through 3 April gardening tips. And at the very end of this video, I'm gonna share with you an exciting update about the future of our channel and what to expect from us. Now, as we get started, if you have any questions at any point, go ahead and ask those down in the comment section. I start every one of my days by having a nice warm cup of coffee sitting on the couch and answering each of them, so you'll get a response from me super quickly. So as you can see in my hand here, I have one of my favorite crops, potatoes. And our first April gardening tip is to plant your potatoes. Now, if you haven't purchased your potatoes yet, once you do, place them into a warm and dark area so that they can begin the chilling process. This is the process of them putting out their very first little sprouts of growth out of their eyes, and it's going to allow them to grow more quickly. Once you have some growth coming out of their eyes, you're ready to get them into the ground. They're very cold hardy, so don't be afraid to plant them nice and early. Potatoes can be grown well in ground or in containers, and they love a deep and fertile soil. So make sure there's lots of compost in the soil. One of the keys to having success with potatoes is to make sure that you plant them nice and deep. I'm using my hori-hori knife here to measure these at least 8 inches deep. The reason for this is because the potatoes we harvest grow as tubers off of the main stem, but these tubers will only grow off of the main stem if it is buried beneath the soil. So by planting it 8 inches deep, we will have 8 inches of buried stem to get potatoes off of. Next, I am going to use our transplant kit to make sure these potatoes are well fed. I'm going to sprinkle 1 handful of worm castings and 1 tablespoon of 444 superfood into each hole and gently massage it in. Potatoes are big eaters, so this will ensure they have all the nutrients that they need to thrive. And all I have to do from here is backfill and then top dress with another 1 handful of worm castings and 1 tablespoon of 444 superfood. I would normally water, but as you can see, we got plenty of rain coming down, so there's no need for me to be adding extra water to the bed. Okay, so the potato babies are in, and the rain has conveniently stopped just as we're finishing up, of course. And the second tip is actually inside, so it's heading that direction now. Okay, that's a bit better. Nice and warm in here and dry. And so our second April gardening tip is to start our summer crops. And so for myself, a few of the crops that I'll be starting in April here include my cucumbers, my zucchinis, and my spaghetti squash. And so while these seeds are getting started a bit later, I used the exact same method for starting them as I did in our seed starting video earlier this year. And so I've left a link to that up above if you want to check it out. And what I love about this method is just how easy it is. So all that I'm going to do is fill the seed cells up with seedling mix. And I'm going to give them a gentle tap to get any little air pockets out of there. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and add the first round of moisture in. And then it's time to place our seeds into each of the seed cells. And I love to go with 5 seeds per seed cell to make sure that we have multiples germinating. And then I'm going to add my second turkey baste of water to get those wet. And then all that's left to do is just covering them with a little bit more seedling mix and adding 1 final turkey baste of water. And then placing them in the seed starting station where they're going to germinate and begin growing alongside the rest of the crop, which, as we can see here, is doing pretty damn well. And so the reason why we can't start these ones as early as some of our other plants is because once they germinate and begin to grow, they are off to the races. And so we're only going to be able to have them underneath the grow lights for about 30 days before they just get too big and too out of control for the seed starting station, at which point we would want to begin hardening them off to transplant them into the garden, which leads us into our third tip. So let's head outside to discuss that. So just before we get to that third tip, for those of you that I have not met before, I'm Jordan from Mind and Soil, where we're looking to introduce 1 million individuals to mindful gardening. So if you're looking for more peacefulness, more joy, more restoration in your life, then I encourage you to subscribe to our channel here, because we put out new videos just like this one, well, fairly similar to this one, every single week, to be taking as much of the guesswork out of gardening as possible so that you can be experiencing its mental health benefits. Now that third April gardening tip is to utilize a min-max thermometer and structures like these DIY greenhouses when it comes to hardening off your plants over the course of a month. So we're going to put out a lot of videos when it comes to how to go about hardening off your plants to prepare them for the outdoor garden. But what's most important is the average nighttime low temperature. So by using a min-max thermometer, you're going to know the exact minimum temperature every night in your backyard and its unique microclimate. And then by utilizing these DIY structures, you can increase that temperature by about 3 Celsius every single night. So take a look at this. It is April 1st and I have already hardened this tomato plant, and it has been outside for the last 6 straight nights, and that's because I've been utilizing my min-max thermometer and this structure while going through the hardening off process. So if you'd like to download our guide for how to go about hardening off, go to the link in the description down below there and you can see our 7-day process for it. But as mentioned, there's going to be a lot more on that over the course of April. And so as I alluded to at the beginning of this video, we have an exciting update about the direction that we're going with our YouTube channel. And so as you can tell from this video, I've done all of it in a much quieter, somewhat slower, more whispering type of voice. And moving forward, all of the videos that we do are going to be in this gardening ASMR format or style. And the reason why we think this will work so well is because it's much more peaceful, it's much more calming, much more in line with the gardening values that we believe in here at Mind and Soil. Or just because it's April 1st. April Fool's suckers, gotcha! That's all for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this. Catch you over the course of April, and go get those hands dirty.